My name is Star Bunting.
Now showing on CTV. Don't blink.
Sunrise at Sea. A very good morning once again. My name is Priva Elibaz. It's time for our views. And joining me in studio are the ladies Agi Uwase and Shivan Auma. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Welcome back from that discussion, Agi.
Yes.
You had a very good discussion, so welcome back from that. So now today, ladies, on our views, we're going to be looking at unemployment. Yes? We are looking at unemployment basically as a social challenge that is affecting not only even the youth, but even people who are way above 30 years of age. Now, employment, most of us understand it as being out of work, even when you actively are looking for a job or you actively actually want to work. And according to the International Labour Organization, they define unemployment as something that occurs when people are without jobs and they have actively looked out for work within the past 4 weeks. Now, the unemployment rate is a measure for the prevalence of unemployment, and it is calculated as a percentage by dividing the number of unemployed youths or unemployed individuals by all individuals currently in the labor force. Now, when you bring it back to Uganda, we all understand that our population comprises mostly of youth. We have about 3/4 of our population under the age of 30 years of age. So what that means for us is that we actually have a high unemployment rate as Uganda. But just, bringing it back to the social setting, I'm going to just ask you ladies, right? We're just going to dive in right in, like just basically in a few seconds. Yeah, we're just going to hit right on the head. I need the causes of unemployment, especially in our Uganda today. Why are we so unemployed?
Because of who knows you.
Yeah.
Technical know-who, social capital, what kind of name do you have? There's some organizations where you walk in, if you're not Arinait or Shivan, you might not get in. I'm just saying they are actually there. So, but the major causes, I would say, is desire to have white-collar jobs. We have more of job seekers than creative minds that are willing to put out a craft and invest in it. We want things that are already done. We want to sit in an office with SC. We want to be an accountant. How many people do you hear that say, I want to be a baker? How many people do you hear that they say, I want to be a tailor? Because we're looking at those jobs as omuntu wawansi, forgetting that if there was no tailor, you wouldn't be putting on that chitenji you're putting on. So the major cause of unemployment, specifically in Uganda, is our mindset. We have failed to move from the fact that it's not all about being a lawyer. It's not about being a doctor. Yes, there are good things, but can you get something going on your own?
Yeah. In case formal employment fails.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that we're talking about formal employment and being self-employed, well, for me, I would say that the major cause of unemployment in Uganda is the fact that there are actually no jobs. I'll tell you that, you find a company as advertising for probably like 3 slots, and you find on each slot there are about 2,000 people who are applying for that job. And just like Shivan said, technical know-who. Sometimes you find these companies already have their people, but they just want to go through the right process because at the end of the day, they'll be audited. So they just put it out there, but there are actually no jobs.
Yes, the adverts, yeah.
Oh, yes. And on the other hand, talking about self-employment, I think that most people would actually love to be self-employed than to be formally employed.
Formally employed, yes.
But the reason is, where do you actually get that capital to start, your own kind of thing? You actually need to first get a job or a gig so that you get some capital and then be self-employed. But starting from scratch, you talked about tailoring. You need to buy material. You need to buy that machine. You don't go and smile and they give it to you. So if you don't have the money, someone who is fresh from university, someone who is fresh from an institution, you don't have the money. Maybe your family is not actually privileged enough to give you that money to start up something. So it's about, if it's being self-employed, where do you get the startup? So many people do not have it. And on the other side of formal employment, there are no jobs.
There are no jobs, point blank. Yes. Yeah, there are no jobs. Well, what I have to say about the causes of unemployment in Uganda, I'd look at it more from the point of poverty. Yes? You have poverty running in your family right from the time you're born, there is no bit of like, inspiration or someone pushing you to actually be better in life. And also, when you're poor, you cannot afford the things that you need, even the basic things that you need in life, whether it's education, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, healthcare as well. You cannot bring those things to yourself. You cannot access those things when you don't have the money. So you see, even with the way you mentioned the mindset, it does not necessarily stop on people just having the willingness to actually learn these things. It's more of like where people come from. Yes, I agree with the mindset thing, but I'm also saying like where people come from is also something that plays a bigger picture into how people actually get employment later on in future. But what I want to ask you, ladies, we know employment comes with benefits. You have the money, you can take care of yourself.
The money? you get employed and you don't even have money to take care of yourself. You find that, each time you're getting your salary, rent, I don't know, this and that, and you actually don't have
money. But
at least you're able to afford the basics, Yes, you can afford shelter, clothing, and all that. But let's look at some of, the benefits of unemployment.
Benefits of unemployment?
Yes.
A lot of me time.
Yes.
You get to spend a lot of time with yourself. Very many people do not understand that concept, but I take me time off. My Saturdays are me time. I do me. Like I spend time with me. I want to understand.
But how long do you think you will be able to actually enjoy that me time? Because it may actually be enjoyable for the first
years. But now when you bring it in the aspect of unemployment and you're there saying me time, that you have no food to eat at home, then it's terrible. But one of the benefits of being unemployed is that I'm hoping within that time you're doing what I would call creative thinking.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking outside the box. You're taking your time. It may not even be work that you want to do. Or maybe you're looking towards doing a master's. You've just finished your degree. As you wait for a job, are you looking to doing your master's? Are you volunteering somewhere? Sanyu Baby's Home has, there are underprivileged children that want to be taken care of. That is something that you can do. Help out with housework. Learn how to peel matoke.
Oh my God.
Don't go to people's homes.
Yeah, make use of yourself.
Briefly, for me, what I would say is, if you're not suffering, because being unemployed comes with a lot of suffering. But if you're unemployed and not suffering, it gives you, she talked about me time. Yes, now you re-strategize. You actually sit down and really ascertain if the thing that you were doing prior or what actually you want to do, is it actually what you really want to do? You look at your goals, you look at your ambitions, you look at your career prospects. It gives you time to really reevaluate your life, and at least by the time you get employed, you're now actually in the field of exactly what you want to do. You're not just meandering and trying to figure out things just like that. So for me, it's honestly that's the only benefit. But you can only think when you're not suffering. When you don't have food, when you don't have rent,
you can't suffer.
You can't.
Well, what I have to say in regards to employment and all that, truly, really, we need to understand that actually with unemployment, you actually have benefits as a person. You're able to, like you mentioned, both of you, you're able to think about yourself, you're able to have me time as well, and actually realize what you actually want in your life. I was watching one of the TikTok videos, and the lady said that she was doing a very good job, software engineering, and she used to make a lot of money. She was happy. She could afford all these things, but she never had time for her friends, never had time for family, never had time for anything. You're working about 16 hours a day. So when are you ever going to, have time for yourself? So sometimes money is not everything, Sometimes money is not everything.
But it is something.
There's something you've mentioned there. You gave the example of the lady. I know we do not want to hear this, but can we look at the silver lining in a bad situation? You're unemployed, you have no job. That might not be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. I'm not downplaying. To some people it is. Yes, that's why I said I'm not downplaying. But how about you use that time appropriately? Because guess what? These are the same people who get employed and then say, I wish I had used that chance to, visit friends,
and
learn a
get
new
in touch with
language,
them.
get online,
On a light moment.
Wait, no. In the interest of time, I'm sorry, Aggie, we may not really get into that, but in the interest of time, in just a very, very few seconds, ladies, give the tips to people out there who are struggling and they're unemployed right now. Unemployed individual out there who is actually looking for some sort of, motivation.
Sit down, think about your life, think about your career prospects and what you have to do. At least you have that time to think about that. Another thing for me, and the major thing, take it to God in prayer. Pray about what you want and exactly what you want. If you're a believer, trust me, if you have unwavering faith, you will get exactly what you're praying for.
Amen. Amen.
Better yourself. During the time that you're unemployed, better yourself. Learn a new skill, an added advantage.
for you as a person when it comes to looking for employment? Well, you had the submissions from the ladies, and as I wind up, I'm going to give you a few tips that you could use as an unemployed individual out there. Number one, do not deny your feelings. Being unemployed is a stressful situation that can cause many negative emotions to arise. While it may be tempting to avoid these feelings, with unhealthy behaviors, dealing with them head on is much more effective and healthy. So basically, allow yourself time to adjust to being unemployed. Do not beat yourself up for your situation, and look for the positive side whenever possible, just like Shivana Auma put it. Then number two, think of unemployment as a temporary setback. Rather than looking at unemployment as a permanent thing, try to see this situation as simply a setback that is temporary. This will give you the confidence and motivation to find a new job more quickly than if you view unemployment only in a negative light. Then you have to reach out to friends and family as well, because you often feel a sense of shame or embarrassment about your situation. You often lead yourself into situations like isolation from friends and family. But staying connected is essential to maintain motivation to find a new job, as well as promote a healthy mental and physical well-being. Well, the final thing that I'll be leaving with you on top of networking is take care of yourself. Unemployment often causes individuals to lose sight of their emotional, mental, and physical well-being. However, taking care of yourself is essential in both the short and long term, and will ensure you are capable of taking a new job when the opportunity arises. So get enough exercise, sleep, and eat well to maintain your levels of positivity and energy. I think I've said it all. If you're out there, do not beat yourself up. There is life even after unemployment. You can bounce back. Well, the conversation continues on our social media platforms, that is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CTV Uganda. My name is Priva Elibas. This is Sunrise at Sea. Don't blink.
Well, we have come to the end of the show. It's been amazing. We've had great conversations, especially on the Twitter jabs and also on our views talking about unemployment. But we do see the Forum for Democratic Change's Atan Moses has cast his vote at Cell C and D Central Polling Station in Soroti Gardens with a cannula on his right hand. Now, Atan seeks to retain his seat at Soroti East as Soroti East legislator in the 11th Parliament. Those were the updates on what is transpiring in Soroti East at the moment. So all the constituents have taken to the polls, and by the end of today, actually the Electoral Commission said voting ends at 4 p.m. Only the people that will be in the queue will be led to cast their vote past 4 p.m. So if you haven't made it to the voting station by 4 p.m., you will actually not be able to cast your vote. So that is to the people of Soroti East who are casting their votes today to get their new member of parliament for, you know, the 11th Parliament, like I mentioned earlier. But that is all we had for you, and CTV, we are definitely dedicated to give you all the details in our subsequent programming in regard to the by-election that is happening today and every other transparency. That is all we had on this segment, rather on the show today, this morning on Sunrise at Sea. But have a great day. Remember to take care of yourself and be well. Have a good one.